Rabbi Ami. Omer Rabbi Ami. Hiniach Sa'or Agabi Isa. Now this is Sa'or. Even Rabbi Schomburg will be Maida. Not Sayar, Seor. Sa'or. This is yeast. He took yeast. He took a leavening agent, and he put it on top of the dough. Usually, I believe that you take the leavening agent and mix it into the dough. That's the real way to do it. Over here, he put it on top of the dough, hoping for the best. Eventually, becomes chametz. Says the Gemara. So, if it became chametz on its own without him mixing it in, he's chayiv just like on Shabbos. So, what does that mean? Just like on Shabbos? Ma'aseh Shabbos ki haygavdim mimechayev. Are you chayev? Ma'aseh Shabbos ki haygavdim mimechayev. Are you chayev if you cook something like that? You put a steak on the grill and you walk away. Are you chayev? If you take meat and you put it on top of the coals, so on Shabbos you would be potter. If you take a steak and you put it on the grill and you don't flip it, you're potter. So we'll get in a little bit what that means. But akopanim over here, just by putting the yeast.
We gotta go. We don't understand it. And sure.
What happened? Well, we're going to explain. The Gemara is going to explain.
We want a demonstration.
Baruch Hashem, yesterday you didn't ask me for a demonstration. This one, okay, fine. Omar Rava, my chayiv nami deko Omar, kemaise tzoli shel Shabbos. So there's a machlokes Rishonim here exactly what it means. But as if you would flip it, you're chayiv, so too over here. Now obviously when it comes to yeast, you don't flip. So just like by Shabbos, even if you would flip it, you'd be chayiv. So by yeast, just by putting it on, you're chayiv like a ma'aseh Shabbos. Now to understand the sugi a little better, the Gemara goes into it. Gufa, Amar Rav Barbachan Amar Rabbi Yechon. Hiniach basar agabe gecholim. If you put the meat on top of the coals, hibach boy chayiv, lo hibach boy potter. Hey chidami, what's the case? If it doesn't cook, you have to flip it in order to cook. Pshita. Then of course you're not chayiv because you didn't cook it. So it's talking about a case that you put it on one side, it does cook. So if it's a well done steak, just by putting it on the grill one way, obviously you should be chayiv. So the Gemara like tzricha. So what is the case? Kimachol ben drusoi. Kimachol ben drusoi is the famous concept in Shabbos. There was a robber, there was a bandit. His name was Drusoi, and since he was always on the go, he never had time to full out barbecue. Yeah. You see, you gotta be careful. You're in charge of that. Okay. Should we start over?
We do the makeup though.
What you're doing now is actually worse than that.
Okay. So, fine. Ben Drusoi, he never had time. He never had time to make his. So what? Take two. So what would he do? He would eat his meat. Rashi says 1/3 cooked. Today it's called rear, like very, very, very rear. So maybe that's the minhag today.
Tatar.
What?
Tatar.
Sushi.
Sushi
Sushi is not cooked at all. It's not cooked.
Right. Fine.
Why can't you just leave
You
it?
did
Tartar.
sushi on Shabbos, you're not over.
Why did
it for 2 hours? It's going to become fully cooked on the one side. As
Who?
a shabbos, the one side is going to be much on the side.
You're asking a Metzias how it works? The coals are very weak. It's a very, very weak coal. And hold on. So 1 minute. Let's finish. Let's finish the line. I'm just explaining what drusa is. Machal ben drusa is a concept on Shabbos. The minimum cooking on Shabbos is kemachal ben drusa. You have to a third cooked. Now the Gemara continues. If Now, if he flipped it over, it would cook on the second side also a third. And here's the chiddush: the kol mitzad echad kemach ben drusai loy klumhu. That if you only cooked it on one side, you have a steak, one side is kemach ben drusai, the other side is completely raw, and you take a bite out of the side that's kemach ben drusai.
You're going to take a bite.
You're not over, right? You don't take a bite. Just cook it, fine.
Is it edible or not?
Forget the bite. I was just giving a muzzle.
So,
Make it. I was mamish mamchishit. Yes.
so if when you flip it, the other side is going to be Michael Ben also.
Right.
So if you didn't flip it, the first side would be able to be two Michael Ben 2/3 cooked, right?
No. Michael ben Drusai is enough. No, you don't need more. You don't need more.
The Gemara says if you just cook the Michael Ben one side, you part of.
We're gonna
If
get.
you did more than
So
that,
let's
you'd
go.
be
We're gonna
fine.
go in one line. We're gonna have your shaila, but just before your shaila, Kimach ben Drusai is the end of the shear. You don't need more than Machal ben Drusai. You don't need to go to 2/3 cook. 1/3 cook is that's it. Yichai for Shabbos. The point is you need both sides. It's not enough for cooking to cook a steak completely cooked on one side. You need to completely cook it on two sides. Now,
No.
says hold on. Kimach ben
Chaim
Drusai. Kimach ben Drusai.
What Chaim is asking is, if you leave it on for longer, it's going to cook completely.
It's going to
Even
cook
on one
through.
side.
He's saying Matzia stick. It's going to cook through.
No.
Haraya, if you cook one side Machal Ben
cold.
Yusai, then you flip it, and the other side also gets to Machal Ben Yusai, then Kanireh.
I don't think he's asking that it's going to go through.
That's
It'll
what he's
get to
asking.
2/3.
That was the first question.
No, if you have a steak that's this thick, you ever saw those real steaks like this big?
Yeah, right.
What he meant to ask is, what he meant to ask. Okay. Omar Rava, v'im nitzlo boy ki gregeres mitzad echad b'mokem echad chayav. So what's Rava really coming to say? We know that the shear is a kigregeres. In Shabbos it has to be the size of a dried fig. Kigregeres. So what is Rava coming to say? So the Rashba says that he's coming to say what we're about to learn, that it has to be in one place, in b'mokem echad. In other words, if you have a dried fig in three places, you're not chayiv. If nisla boy kigregeres mitzad echad b'mokem echad, even on one side, if he did a full cook, so that's what Chaim was asking, right? That's the next shlav. If you did a full cooking on one side and it's the size of a kigregeres, then you are chayev. So, what's his other shaila? The shaila was that how is it possible that if it could cook the second side? Okay, so he took it off the grill. He did a kamacha ben drusai, then took it off the grill. Are you chayev or not? You're not chayev because it never cooked on two sides. Kamacha ben drusai. But if you left it on the grill and it became tzali for real.
No, the Gemara is saying what's the difference between why you part on it. So
Yeah.
if you left it on, if you flipped it, you'd be chayiv. If you didn't flip it, you'd be part of it.
Right. If you didn't flip it, you took it
The
off.
same amount of time. The question is, did you flip or not?
No,
Not
that's
saying
your
did you
own
flip. The
thing.
question is just, did you flip? The question is not, did you... it's not telling
It
you
doesn't
did.
say. It says he got to Macham and Drusai. It doesn't say that he got more. You're asking it should eventually get to more. If he eventually gets to more, then you have the next halacha. Eventually got to more, then you're chayiv on a kigura geres. You're asking how it didn't get to more, so I'm telling you because the coals went out because he took it off.
No, but then he's right.
The
That
coals are not strong enough to get through a big steak. It's also
Or that. It's
then
also
it shouldn't
possible.
be the-
It's a very thick
Not
steak.
hipichpo. The nafkamina should be, did he take it off on time?
What?
The nafkamina, if that's the case, then the nafkamina
Why?
should be.
Because
Has
even
nothing to do
to
with if
Machal
he
ben
took it off or
Drusai,
not.
if I
he
flip it
left
over.
on for long, then it'll be chayev. If he left it off and he just.
But it's two types of
took it
bishul.
off.
If I have a kamachal ben drusai on two sides, I'm also chayiv. It's a big chiddush. If it's a kamachal ben drusai on two sides, I'm chayiv. And if it's not kamachal ben drusai, so I need it to be fully cooked on one side. How much on one side of kigreres? It's two shiurim. There's two types of cooking.
You could take a piece of steak and throw it on the grill, and just cook it Machal Ben Yusai on one side, and then pull it off, and you're fine.
Yeah,
But that's not visual. It's not.
that's not bishul.
Machal
You have to have a shear. You have to have a shear. What?
Yeah.
Right. So the chiddush is, but you could eat it, but it has to be on both sides. You can't say, oh, you could eat it,
I'll slice it and eat one side.
but that's not, no, but it's, on this food, you only have a parsha kamacham ben drusai. K'machem Yisrael, it has to be K'machem Yisrael on the entire
Well,
food.
the mice, you can eat that part. What's
He ate the whole steak, this guy.
Because K'machem Yisrael as is a shvach ashir, so it has to be for the whole food.
Okay, saying that's a good finish.
Amalei Rabbeinu Ravashi. Rava just said that the kegregeres has to be in one spot. What about in three spots? Vosnan hakuideach kol shu chayov. If somebody drills a hole,
No,
even
not the groigers.
no three, a third of a groigeres, a third of a groigeres in three spots.
Places, they put it on the stick.
L'chayra they should be mitzdaref. Three parts of a groigeres, even on one steak, you have one on the right side, one on the left, one in the middle. It should be mitzdaref. I have a similar case. If somebody has a piece of wood and he drills into the wood, so he's chayev. Why is he chayev? Boina. He builds. What did he just build? He built a hole. What kind of hole is it? Hechidami. If the hole is in one place, kol shula ma'chazi. What can I do with a small little hole? Elolav b'shnayim o shloishim mekoymos. So we're talking about that he drilled a hole, 3 holes, in 3 places. The chazi litziruf. They are enough to create one hole. What does that mean? When, like if you don't have the right drill bit, let's say you're trying to drill a 1-inch hole, but you don't have a 1-inch, it costs, 50 shekel. So you take a smaller drill bit, and you drill 1, 2, 3, make like a segel, 3, and eventually it becomes one big hole. And then it becomes a little bit bigger, then you fill it up with a little cement, and it becomes a hole. But that's what you do. You make 1, 2, 3, and berach. So there also, so you see that you could take 3 drill bits, 3 drilled holes, and create one. So by us in our sugya, you should be able to take 3/3 of a gregeres and put them together and pretend it's one gregeres. You have a steak. The left part of the steak is cooked, and the right part of the steak is cooked, and in the middle, everything is raw in between and around, but you have a little piece here. All together, you measure it with the device, you have the chazal is tzarufah. What?
Ben Drushay wouldn't eat it though.
We're not even talking about ben drusay. We're talking about regular cooking, a full cooking. That has to be a kigregeres. It can be mitzdaref. Says the Gemara, Loi, don't bring me a raya from a drill, from a drilled hole. Over there it's talking about Loi lo b'makom echad. He only drilled 1 hole, not 3 holes. So you ask me a kasha, what can you do with 1 hole? I'll tell you what you can do with 1 hole. The chazal of vavadakli, it's good for the point of the key. The end of the key has a little point. So he drilled a little hole and he could stick that part of the key in there. Vikid Amri, and some say it's the same sugya, just in reverse. Amar Rava, Afil b'shnayim shleishim mekoymos. Rava said is halacha that if you grill meat and it's cooked a kigregeres in 3 different places, it's enough to be chayav on Shabbos. We learned that if you drill 1 hole, you're chayav echidami ilay mevakim echad kol shu lemay chazi elalav b'shnayim shleishim mekoyim is the chazi tzeruf. So he brought him a raya. It just starts from the reverse. That Rava said you could be mitzaref 3 places on a steak. So he brought him a raya from 3 drilled holes in the wood, and then Rava said don't bring me a raya from 3 drilled holes in the wood because over there it's only 1 hole in the wood. My halach is a big chiddush. You could be mitzaref 3 parts of the food that are right to eat. Anyways, this part of the Gemara is the same exact as we said before, not to be confused. It's just how he started. Did Rava start with 1 hole and he brought him a raya from 3 holes? He was asking a question, he's bringing a raya. That's it. Tana Rabbanon. What? Tana Rabbanon ilu nemar asher takriv el Hashem lo yisiyos chametz. So it says by Marcheshes, asher takriv el Hashem. So unfortunately, I printed it as this same pasuk we had 3 times already. Even tonight, this is the same pasuk. Just different colors, different things. It's different sugya. Fine. Which one do we need now? Oh, we need this one. I think. Yes. It says in the pasuk, Kol ha-mincha asher takriv el Hashem Lo siyasa chametz. Remember, we had a different sugya that I printed this out because lo siyasa chametz. This is a different sugya. Ki chasa'oi v'chol dvash saktiru mimenu ishul Hashem. We're going to discuss this next part of the pasuk later, but what's important for now is these words: Kol mincha asher takrivu Hashem. Kol mincha, all menachos asher takrivu Hashem. What do you makriv to Hashem in a mincha? The koimetz. Very good. Very good. That's the sugya here. Ilu nema asher takrivu Hashem lo yisiyasa chametz. If it would say asher takrivu Hashem, it wouldn't say kol mincha, the first two words. So I would think asher takrivu is referring to what I put on the mizbeach. What do I put on the mizbeach? The kmitza. I go like this, put it on top of a mizbeach. What's the rest? That's not asher takrivu. So this doesn't apply to the rest. Mincha minayin. How do I know the rest of the mincha, which I didn't do kmitza? Talmud loymar mincha. This word with not the purple, the red. The reason why it's in purple because we do another drasha from here. Shor menachos minayin talmud loymar kol mincha shetakrivu Hashem. All the menachos that I get from the purple kol asher takrivu Hashem. Now, from these words over here, also limud. Ksheira v'loy psula. That what? It has to be something that could be makrav d'Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Something that goes out of the Azara, or something that became tummy. I can't be makrav d'Hakadosh Baruch Hu. So it's not a problem of chametz, not a problem of anything. Mekan amru hamechametz isak ksheira chayiv v'sapsula potter. So the bottom line is, these halachas that we said about chametz, you can't make a mincha chametz. How do I know it's talking about the entire mincha and not just the koimetz? Because it says ha-mincha. And how do I know it's talking about all menachas? A machas, a marcheshes, a koyin, a this, a that, a soiles? Kol ha-mincha. Asher takrivu, that it can't be tomei and it can't be yotzei. Because if it's tomei or yotzei, I'm not chayiv on chametz. Boy wrap up. Geshmak, a very geshmak kasha. You have to, It's very geshmak. You'll see. Some people will have a hard time understanding, but it's very geshmak. Now, I'm just saying geshmak. A bunch of times I have to get out of my system because Mr. Kornbluth gave me a catch. And I say geshmak, I have to think about this drush in the sukkah. We learned the other day that a special chiddush when it comes to chametz, that I can make something chametz, and then a minute later I'm over again on the same isser chametz. There's a mechametz after mechametz. So if I made a chametz while I was doing lisha, I'm over, I get malchus, and then I wanted to show that I'm stubborn, I went back and I put it in the oven, they give me malchus again. I could be mechametz after mechametz. So Rav Papa asks, what happened if I'm mafsik the two chametzes with a yotzei? I did chametz, then I took it out of the Beis HaMikdash, out of the Azara, and then I did chametz again. It's an unbelievable kasha. Why? Chimtza v'yotzes v'chazar v'chimtza ma'u. Kivin diyotzes ipsale b'yotzei. We have a problem here. This batter that we have in front of us is basically possible because it's chametz. But I added another psul to it. Now it's puzzle called yotzei. If I would have done yotzei first, I wouldn't have been able to make chametz. We just said asher takrivu Hashem. It's unbelievable. If I took it out of the Azara, you hear the kasha? It's crazy. It's very limited. What?
Brothers watching it on online. David.
Yeah. Oh.
Luke, he just texted me up. Then he just got mentioned.
All those guys that are watching, they always have to show that they're watching. Like, hi David, you should watch. You should be gesund to hate, and you should watch every day. Be'ezer Hashem, 7:15 tomorrow morning. Akol Ponim. You hear the guy? We just finished saying.
He has what to say.
You could just type it on the screen, and we'll all see it on the screen. Yeah, think about what's going on here. We said if he goes yotzei, he takes it out of the Zara. There's no way to do chametz on it. It's finished. You can't do chametz. But what if he did chametz and then he took it out of the Zara? Maybe I could continue doing chametz and be over again. Because now it's different. Why? Because it already became possible, so to speak, when I did chametz. So I can't add another psul. Just by taking it out, I'm not going to be over the psul. So forget about yotzei. I don't even count the yotzei, and now I could do another chametz after chametz. If I start out with the yotzei, it's possible, and I can't add chametz to it. So you're right. I didn't bring it in. I'll bake it in the oven.
What's the hava?
You bring it in. Why can't you bring it in? You can't eat it. No, you can't eat it. Let's say it's yotzei. It is yotzei, right? There's a case of yotzei. I bring it back in, put it in the oven. I'm over another chametz. So you're going to tell me,
It's not a korban. Bring it back in. You can't bring it as a korban.
but it's not a korban when it's chametz. Nevertheless, I could add chametz to it and be over another isser. It's unbelievable kasha. Think about it. I made something chametz. It's finished. I can't eat it. I can't be makriv it. I can't do anything to it. But one thing I could do with it, I could be over another isser on it. I'll be over a second chametz. Okay. So now I did chametz and I took it out of the Beis Hamikdash. So I added an isser of yotzei. And now I want to add another isser of chametz on it.
Once it's mechumetz already?
It's possible. No, it's not. Let's say it's not an isser.
So that, I think, no.
Oh, you mean once a mechumetz?
Once it's mechumetz.
That's the kasha. That's good for the shiloh.
No,
It's done.
that's why I'm asking, why is he asking again, am I over another issur? It has
chametz.
nothing to do with it. The question is just, is there an issur yotzei after I'm mechumetz?
Right. Exactly. That's good with the shiloh. That's the chayla of the shiloh. So let's see it inside. Let's see inside.
It's not
Chimtzo-
chametz when you take it out. No, because it's not.
Why not?
The problem with the Beis Hamikdash.
Yeah.
It's not Pesach.
The other element of
No, but
It's no longer chametz anymore. It's just something that's not okay.
but you can't eat it anymore. Yet you could be over another chametz on it, even though you can't eat it anymore. Who cares where it is? It's not
But it's not a
Beis
chametz problem anymore outside the Beis Hamikdash, right? You can use it's nothing anymore.
Hamikdash. So that's the question. Does taking it out of the Beis Hamikdash add a problem? Maybe we don't even consider it a problem because you can't add an isser on top of an isser. It's already chametz, so you can't add another isser of yotzei. Let's see inside. Chimtza v'yotzes v'chazer v'chimtza mao. It was chametz?
Why you need the chazer v'chimtza? That's what I'm asking. You don't need the chazer v'chimtza.
You're talking about the lashon? As the lashon?
Kasha, I
Yeah.
don't need that for the kasha. I don't need the chazer v'chimtza.
Just as a yotzei.
Is it yotzei? I know chazer v'chimtza. That's a separate thing.
Okay, so let's see if that's the question. Even the yotzes ipsala lo b'yotzei, since it went out, it became puzzle with another isser called yotzei. V'chihoder mechametz lo mechayev lo mishum mechametz aracham mechametz. So now once you're over on yotzei, we said before that yotzei asher takrivu lashem. We learned from these words. Once you go outside, you can't do chametz. So now I did yotzei, I can't do another chametz. I dil makiv in the chimtza psul yotzei lo mehanelei. Or maybe there is no yotzei. I think it's a little bit better the way the Gemara says it, personally.
Is machmitz outside the Beis Hamikdash or is machmitz brings
It
it
doesn't
back
matter
in?
where he's machmitz it.
No, because if he brings it back in, it's possible.
So he brings it back in. It's
No, I'm
possible.
saying maybe it's dafka when he's out.
But it's not possible because it's chametz. It can't be possible.
Chametz and he took it out. It's now chasen a korban. So if you're not
Time out. No. Chametz is possible anyways, before he went out.
yes.
Now he added to that yotzei.
So now he's outside. So what's the minute?
And now he brought it back in.
What difference does it make if he brought it
But
back?
maybe
in, it's
yotzei,
worse.
maybe he's not even over on yotzei because it was already chametz, so you can't be over on yotzei, the Gemara says. It's nothing.
Oh, that's the shot.
He already had isser number one called chametz, so now it's possible, forget it. Something that's possible, you're not going to add another isser to it.
Yeah, but we
It's finished. It's not a carbon.
could add
Yeah, but maybe it's
chametz to it.
Yeah.
Then why can't you add another?
Oh, because it's a chiddush in chametz, a special chiddush that yesh chametz archa chametz. But once I give yotzei now,
maybe that is.
I didn't give me the chimtza puzzle yotzei loy mahani bei the chehader. Maybe since I was already machmetz it, the psul of yotzei doesn't even apply to it. The chehader mechametz lo mechayev lo mishum mechametz archa mechametz teiku.
It doesn't say.
Since there is no yotzei, I'll ignore the fact that I went out. Memela I'm over on yotzei after yotzei.
He doesn't say
Teiku.
put it back in here. It just says he took it out and he was machmitz it again.
Yeah,
Doesn't
well,
say he brought it back into the.
how are you machmetz it?
He was made it.
Putting it in the oven.
Outside to eat it outside.
Yeah,
If
but
it's outside the temple, it's not an issue.
Well, so it was a korban previously.
I'm saying, but you're like.
but that's not the point. It doesn't matter where he
It
is.
doesn't say anywhere here that he brought it back.
Okay,
in.
so you didn't bring him back in. That helps you. That he didn't bring it in.
No, I'm saying it doesn't help you. The fact
Okay.
that if you brought it back in, it's also the same question.
Naniach that you don't have to bring it in. I think it's easier to say you brought it back in. Boyer Amari. Another Shiloh. So we have a teiku. We don't have an answer to Rav Papa Shiloh. Boyer Amari. Chimtza b'rosh Hashem mizbeach mao. What happened? He goes up to mizbeach with this mincha, and the whole time he's being very careful. He's kneading it. He gets up, he's out of breath, he stops kneading it, and now it became chametz before he had a chance to chuck it into the fire. But it's on top of the mizbeach. So what's the shayla? Asher takrivu omer achmana va'akriva. It says, bring it close, and he brought it close to the mizbeach. But at the end of the day, he didn't put it to the fire, so memela, you're over. So on the one hand, you're not over because you brought it all the way up, but you didn't bring it into the fire. Maybe no, you have to bring it to the fire in order to be parted from the Aveira. Teiku.
I don't understand this.
Asher takrivu. Asher takrivu. What does it mean to you, Asher takrivu? The word Asher takrivu. You might think lahakriv means to make a carbon, to burn it.
So what's hakrava? Hagasha?
No, hakrava means to be close, to be near the.
When he does the hagasha,
It's not on the mizbeach. Very literally up on top by the fire. It's mamash hakrava. You're there. You're bringing close. It's a literal. Do you read it literally? I brought it closer. That's. I brought it to the
I
spot.
just find it hard to believe that such a concept. Do we read akrivu literally or not literally?
It doesn't say Asher Yisroif. It doesn't say Asher Yisroif. It says Asher Yakrivu. Bring it close. I brought it to the spot, and it makes sense logically. I'll explain to you. I'm already at the place. I don't have to continue kneading until it's in the fire. I'm already there. When it's on the bottom, no. Teiku. The Gemara says Teiku. Is that me? Hope not. Zog the Gemara. So we learn from these two words, kol mincha. It means the entire mincha, not just the kmitza, cannot be chametz. So then, why do I need Asher takrivu l'Hashem? In other words, this l'Hashem, the part that I give HaKadosh Baruch Hu, why is it even in the pasuk? So it should say kol mincha, lois also chametz. The whole thing. Asher takrivu l'Hashem. What? Asher takrivu.
Yeah.
Okay, but the Lashem not. Very good. They speak about that. They ask you kasha. We just said a miut. Takrivu tells us.
Yeah, but if you had loy ta'aseh chametz, that would also tell you. That would maybe also tell you. But if it's not.
No. We just learned the hakrava.
Yeah.
So, but Lashem, the Lashem part is very strong. It has to be for Hashem. The regular mincha is not for Hashem. It's for the kohen. Who eats the rest of the mincha? The kohen eats it. The Hashem comes to tell us something strong. Lo mali, what do I need Hashem? Not like that, but what do I need the word Hashem here? Didn't come out good. Asher takrivu l'rabbis. Oy vey. Caught 3. Asher takrivu l'rabbis. What? They say it's under Hashem.
No, Hashem is coming to teach us Psul and Kosher.
Psulim, the Maya Psulim.
What did we say before?
The Maya Psul.
That could be loy ta'aseh chametz. That could be enough.
No, Hashem.
No, we learned before Asher takrivu that it can't be puzzle.
That's the Hashem.
So either way, so learn from there. From there's Lashem, and from there's Asher takrivu, or from there's Asher takrivu, and there's Lashem.
The Gemara invited to just brings all time Asher takrivu. That's what we learned from Asher.
Okay. So you're saying Lashem. So how do you learn from Lashem not Tomei? Asher takrivu means not Tomei, not Yotzei. Okay, fine. Roy Lashem. Akoparim, there's 2 drushes from Asher takrivu Lashem. Don't think that it's one sentence. Asher takrivu Lashem is split in 2.
Wait, so you need Hashem?
Lomeli, yes, we all use need Hashem every second.
Get it to the daf.
10 minutes.
Wow.
Tomorrow I won't.
There is no minutes on Motzei Shabbos. Miboy leilig l'sanya asher takrivu l'rabbis. It says mefurish asher takrivu, not Lashem. L'rabbis minchas nesachim l'chimutz. What's minchas nesachim? There's karbanas like a oil and shlamim that you bring the carbon. You bring in addition a minchas nesachim. You bring a mincha together with wine. So what's the chiddush over there? The entire thing goes on the mizbeach. The kohen doesn't get anything. So I would think that since the kohen doesn't get anything, maybe you could do chametz. It's not a problem. Divri Rabbi Yosef Galili. The Gemara is going to flip this to Rabbi Akiva. Akaparim right now, Rabbi Yosef Galili says it comes to include nesachim. Rabbi Akiva oimer l'rabbis lechem aponim lechimutz. I think also since lechem aponim doesn't have kmitza, and none of the lechem aponim goes on the Mizbeach, the Kohen had to eat the entire thing. So I would think that there's no chametz. There's no isur of chametz. Kamash Malashet Akrivu. Says the Gemara, Minchas Nesachim Mei Peiroseim. Minchas Nesachim doesn't become chametz. Umei Peiros Ein Machmitzim. It's very interesting that the Minchas Nesachim has a ratio of 3 to 7. When we were saying in the demonstration that we made of the Mincha, we put 1 lug of shemen to an isarin of flour, which is 1 to 7 ratio. That's why it really didn't work. 1 to 7 ratio of liquid is very bad. So you have to introduce water. But the Minchas Nesachim is a lot more. Right? What's the pasuk we say on Sukkos? Shnei Yisraelim Slayis Mechu B'lu Hashem. What? Right. Akoponim, it's 3 lugin to the Yisarin. Depends what it is. If it's a par, keves. Akoponim, it's 3 to 7 ratio. So you don't need to introduce water. If you don't need to introduce water, maybe it's also to introduce water. Akoponim was, we learned the other day, that if you have mei peiros includes oil, which comes from a pri, it doesn't really become chametz. It becomes a little bit chametz, but not at most nuksha we said or whatever. But it doesn't become chametz. Mei peiros machmitzim. Omar Reish Lakish. Oy Mahoy Rabbi Yosef Aglili Minchas Nesachim Migabel b'mayim ukshero. So you're allowed to add water, and since you're allowed to add water, you added water and it becomes chametz. Ask the Gemara, lechem aponim midas yoveshi. How do you measure the flour for lechem aponim? With the isaroin vessel. That's a dry vessel. It's a device for dry goods. Ushmanale l'Rebbe Akiva domar midas yovesh lo niskacha. I don't know if you remember, we had on Daf Yomi Beis.
4.5.
What?
Fully sorry and a half is sorry.
Very good. Oh,
Half is niskadesh.
very good. The what?
Half is niskadesh, the full is not.
That's right. We had enough Nunam Beis that a fully sorin is not niskadesh, but that's only according to this Manda Omar. It said in Rashi, Lemanda Omar, and we didn't have the machlokes that here it is. We have machlokes whether or not fully sorin, they gave it a kedusha, and when they give a kli kedusha, that means anything you put into it becomes kadosh. And that shaila was on the fully sorin. And Rashi explained over there because the fully sorin, people would, Yisraelim would use it and to take it out, it would be a problem. The chatzi sorin, kli, had kedusha to it because only a kohen gadol used it for his mincha every day, so there's no problem. So according to Rebbe Akiva, that says that midas yovish loy niskacha, that the dry isarin, the fully isarin, has no kedusha. So Memela, how does this? There's no problem of chametz. What happens? He took the flour, put it into the isarin, and then he did whatever he had to do, but it never became kadosh because if the kli shares that you're measuring with doesn't have kedusha, so then it didn't become kadosh. If it didn't become kadosh, there's no problem to make it chametz. Sholach Rabbi Ruvei Mishmei Rabbi Yochanan Kachi Atzal Shel Mishnah Veibuch. This is actually a problem in the Mishnah, and we have to flip the names. You just flip the names. The Mishnah is good, just the names aren't. Asher takrivu l'rabbis lechem aponim lechimus the Rabbi Yisrael Glili. Rabbi Yisrael Glili was the one that said that lechem aponim could become chametz, because Rabbi Yisrael Glili holds that the kli does have kedusha and memela becomes chametz. Rabbi Akiva holds that kli doesn't have kedusha. He can't hold that lechem aponim becomes chametz. Rabbi Akiva, so what's the chiddush in Asher takrivu? L'rabbis lechem lechimus. He's the one that holds that nisachim become chametz and not lechem aponim. Says the Gemara of Azar Rabbi Yochanan Tamei. Rabbi Yochanan goes according to his own shita. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yisrael Glili, v'echem etamid Rabbi Shmuel, Amru davar echad, uman Rabbi Yoshia. Rabbi Yoshia and Rabbi Yisrael Glili say the same thing. The Sanya, v'ayim shochem. They were moishach. They v'kadosh oisam. It's talking about the mizbeach. They were mekadosh. They poured the oil on the kalim of the mizbeach. and the Mizbeach itself, and they made it Kodesh. Rabbi Yoshi Oimer, Midas Halach Nimshach Bein Bebifnim Bein Bebachutz. Rabbi Yoshi holds that the Kli that measured liquids, it had a Kedusha from the inside and the outside. Midas Yavesh Nimshach Mebifnim Ve'ein Nimshach Mebachutz. So what does it say here, Mefurish? What does Rabbi Yoshi say? That a dry good Kli, Nimshach, it had Kedusha. That's not like Rabbi Akiva, that's like Rabbi Yosef Aglili. Again, Rabbi Yosef Aglili is the one that says we had to flip the Shita. Say that Rabbi Yosef Aglili holds that the Chiddush is on Lechem Apanu, because Rabbi Yosef Aglili is the one that holds that the Kli that measures dry did have Kedusha. Rabbi Akiva says, Ein Midas Yavish Loy Niskacha. There's no Kedusha at all. Now Rabbi Yosef says, Midas Yavish Nimshach Mebifnim. Ve'ein Nimshach Mebachutz. Fine. And that's all we need. Now it just continues. Rabbi Yonasan Oimer, Midas Halach Nimshach Mebifnim Ve'ein Nimshach Mebachutz. He's Mechulik. He holds that the liquid Kli became Kodesh from the inside, but not in the outside. Midas Yavesh Lo Nimshach Kolikar. That's like Rabbi Akiva. Again, so Rabbi Yonasan holds like Rabbi Akiva, the Midas Yavesh Lo Nimshach Kolikar. What? What's the nafkimina? Limay nafkimina? If something touched it, I guess, from the outside.
So he's saying that according to Rabbi Akiva, they didn't do it because of the outside was not Kaddish. Even though the inside was, you couldn't.
No.
Claim that.
No. According to Rabbi Akiva, there's no kedusha in the inside. The Yisar Kli had no kedusha at all, and that's why. Lechem Aponim that they measured with that Kli does not become chametz, because chametz is only once it becomes kaddish. There's a problem of chametz. You can't take flour and say, I take a bag of flour from my house, and I was over on chametz. It's nothing. It only becomes a problem of chametz once I give it kedusha.
We're not saying that Rabbi Akiva holds the inside is kaddish.
No, that's only Rabbi Yosef Aglili and Rabbi Yosef hold that, not Rabbi Akiva. Tei Dalacha. I'll bring you a raya, says Rabbi Yonasan, that it doesn't. Sharei ein mikadeshes. D'chsiv b'moshvei seichem taviu lechem tnuva shnayim shnei Yisraelim soyos tiyena chometz teofeno bikurim l'Hashem. So he learns from the word teofeno that the kli is not mikadesh, it's the afiyah, it's the baking that's mikadesh. How do you see the pasuk? You bring it from your house, whatever, and it says chametz teofeno. When does it become chametz? When I put it into the oven and not before, not through putting it in the saroin. Imasaheim lashem laachar shenefu. Says the Gemara b'maykim lefiligi ba'oisam. So we had before vayim shochem vayikadesh oisam. By the mizbeach, they anointed the mizbeach with oil vayikadesh oisam, and that's how they became kaddish. Rabbi Yosef savar oisam limutei midas yavish mibachutz. It comes to exclude oisam is always a miut. Only these, meaning that if you have a kli yavish, you have a measuring cup, it doesn't become kaddish on the outside, only inside. Rabbi Yonasan savar midas yavish chaylu. I don't need the oisam to tell me anything about the dry kli. It only comes to tell me that the liquid kli is not kaddish on the outside. So now the Gemara has a kasha. Before we said that Rabbi Yochanan holds that Rabbi Yonasan and Rabbi Yosef Aglili and Rabbi Yoshia say the same thing. L'chayra, we have two other people that say the same thing, Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yonasan. And it's a kasha. Why didn't he say it? Leimenami Rabbi Akiva of Echem and Talmid Rabbi Shmuel Omer Davar Echad. L'chayra Rabbi Akiva Umanu Rabbi Yonasan. Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yonasan are saying the same thing. Says the Gemara. They only say the same thing when it comes to the Yavesh. They both hold that the Kli, there's no Kedusha at all in the dry. But in the liquid, there's a big machlokes. That Rabbi Yonasan holds that became Kaddish inside. And only inside. And Rabbi Akiva says, even on the outside. So Mamela, he couldn't say that they say the same thing, because they don't say the same thing. They don't say the same thing in the liquid Kli, only in the dry Kli. How many minutes?
3.
Omalei Rav Papa Abaye.
Just 40 more.
The who?
40.
40 what?
40 minutes.
Go by this.
Just saying.
No, but we started late. He's right.
Also, we're talking about barbecuing for 20 minutes.
It's all part of Torah.
I'm just saying.
Going back to the lechem aponim, we said lechem aponim. If you hold that the kli that measures the lechem aponim is not kadosh, it cannot become chametz. Wait a minute, I have a big problem. We have the bowl that you mix the whole mincha in, and that's considered a liquid bowl, a bowl for liquid, and that has gedusha. So if it has gedusha, once you introduce the flour to it, it should become kadosh, and from that second on, you should have an isser to make chametz. Amalei kigoin shalosh al gabe kotavulya. Kotavulya is a piece of leather. It has no. It's not a kli. So mamela. It doesn't say anywhere in the Torah that you have to do it in the bisa. I didn't do it. It's talking about a case where I mixed it on a flat nothing, and mamela there's no kedusha, and that's why it doesn't become chametz. Yachi. So no, basically, he's saying enochanami. If you put it in a kli that has kedusha, that second on you have to worry about chametz. In a case that you never put in a kli shares, then there's no problem with chametz. Yachi. The kamalei Rabbi Yonasan teidal chosharei eno mikadeshes. A second ago we said a raya from Rabbi Yonasan because he brought a pasuk that it says once you put it into the oven. Why didn't he just say that it's talking about a kli that's isarin, but it's not an important kli. If you could change, if you're saying a teretz that I didn't use the bisa, I used the katavilya, so I didn't use an isarin that's kaddish, I used an isarin that's a chayil, has no kedusha. Says the Gemara Achiyashta. It doesn't say anywhere in the Torah that you have to mix it in a bisa, in a kli. So there's no problem to use a katavulya. It says in the pasuk, look at this pasuk, Visarin Silas, and we're learning Visarin Silas means like literally not what's inside the Sarin, but the kli Sarin. V'chayil bay means, and you should measure it. Shavik Yisarin the kodesh v'chayil Yisarin the chayil. Does it make sense that he's going to leave the kli that the Torah tells you to do and use another kli? That doesn't make sense. Torah Rabbana. Menayin lemalo mipsar chatos. We had the sugi in Zvachim. Menayin lemalo mipsar chatos mipsar osham u'mipsar kochei hakadoshim kochim kalim. In other words, you take the meat of any of these korbanos. This meat that goes on the mizbeach. Every korban has something that goes on the mizbeach. What are they called? The imurim, but what are they called in English? The innards. Okay, no, it has. The kids there's some parts that go on the mizbeach, but most of it doesn't go on the mizbeach. It goes to the kohen. So the kohen wants to be a big machmir, and he takes his parts that he's supposed to eat and he puts them on the mizbeach. It's going to be do a Kosh Baruch Hu a favor, like a oila. It's a problem. It's an asur. In other words, from the kvasim that go with the lechem. And he takes the leftover of the mincha, not only the kmitza, the part that goes to the kohen. Where's that pasuk? Here. Now we're going to use the other chart. You shouldn't be makir of sa'ar. What's sa'ar? The leavening, the yeast. The chol dvash, and none of the dvash that comes from tmarim, from dates. You shouldn't put it on the mizbeach. So this pasuk tells us two things. Ki chol sa'ar v'chol dvash lo yisaktiru, mimenu ishel Hashem. So we're learning from the word mimenu. Kol shuhu mimenu lo ishim hareyu bebal taktiru. This is halacha. Kol shemimenu lo ishim hareyu bebal taktiru. Anything that went onto the mizbeach There was part of it. In other words, part of it went on the Mizbech. Mimenu, from it, anything from it went to the Mizbech, the rest of it becomes asur to put on the Mizbech. Man, you looked at me like we never learned that.
Where did we learn that?
We learned it a bunch of times in Zvachim. You want the daf? That I can't tell you the daf from yesterday. What?
Source of Shas doesn't.
Today there was today my chavrusa asked me where it was. And I looked quickly. I saw it was ayin. Let's see if you remember. I think it's samach tes. I thought, because if I would say ayin, so I just went off by one. Okay. So anyways, I don't know where it is. Mimenu means anything that you put on the Mizbech. From it you put on the Mizbech, meaning only the from could go on the Mizbech, but the rest of it can't go on the Mizbech. Only part of it could go on the Mizbech, not all of it. Harei b'bal taktiru, you're over on this Isser, bal taktiru. Loi taktiru. It doesn't say bal, but it says loi taktiru. You're not allowed to be makriv, what? The leftover. Mimenu, only part of it you're allowed to put on, not the rest.
Let's say put the meat on first.
Yeah, but it means what you're supposed to put on. It doesn't matter in what order.
In addition to soy and dvash, you're not allowed to take me.
Exactly. In addition to chol soy v'chol dvash, that's what I said. It's two parts of the pasuk. The Gemara is learning. Chol soy v'chol dvash leisaktiru mimenu. It goes on the leisaktiru also. There's another isser of mimenu. As the Gemara, v'shtei alechem v'lechem aponim yesh mehem leishim. There's nothing that you put on the mizbech for it. So it's very interesting. There's a pasuk here. Oh, for this you have to see this pasuk. Ve'veisas hamincha asher yasem me'el el Hashem ve'ikriva el hakoyin ve'gisha lemizbech. This is what you were saying before. Hagasha. There's an inyan of hagasha to bring it and touch the mizbech with it. So the Gemara darshans that it comes to exclude es hamincha me'ela. What is me'ela? Only from these comes to exclude lechem aponim. Why? Why do you pick on lechem aponim? So the Gemara says because it doesn't have ishim. Makriv of anything for it. Oh, so if you're not makriv of anything from it, so why are you telling me that you're not allowed to give? The kohen is not allowed to eat. He's not allowed to what? He's not allowed to put on, right. He's not allowed to be makriv of it. But there's no other part to it. The Gemara says, ain't nishim, and that's why it's excluded from this pasuk. Says the Gemara, what? Exactly. But there is. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Sheshes, ain't megufo li ishim. You're right. It itself, you're not makriv. But don't forget, there's levayna. The 2 spoonfuls of levayna, you are makriv. So, 2.
It's a matter.
It's a matter. So
That's why it has to do with it.
oh, so b'negeya to that Gemara over there, you're right. There's no ishim. It itself, there's no ishim. Ememela, there's no hagasha. You're talking about hagasha. It itself, it doesn't go on the mizbeach. But we're talking about over here about mimenu. That a part of it. B'negeya to part of it, lechem aponim is considered 2 parts. It has levoina, and that goes on the mizbeach. And that's considered mimenu. Some of it went on the mizbeach, the levayna went on the mizbeach. So if you put the lechem upon the mizbeach, you're over on this mimenu. B'negeya to hagasha, we view the lechem upon as its own thing. It's individual. So you don't have to bring the lechem upon him and touch the mizbeach with it. Why? Because it itself doesn't have ishim. You're not makriv of any part of the lechem upon him. Either levayna, that's not important for now. For this pasuk, levayna is important, and for this pasuk, it's not important. Agutavoch. Tomorrow, 7-15, right here, and for the rest of the winter, Bezer Hashem.
The case is we took it out of Beis Hamikdash.
What?
The case we